Um, Next for us is a bigger unit and a smaller unit. So even smaller than what we have for just a more affordable home office, and then a bigger living unit with kitchen, bathroom, and small living area. So that would act as a laneway house, or could fall into a resort application for hospitality, some of those pieces. So we're just about to launch that. We're launching that basically in the next month. So that's the exciting next stage for our business.
Nels, where's your business headed?
Well, we're rebranding and changing our name just a little bit. Our name right now is Arbutus Farms Fresh Deli Foods, and the way I look at Fresh Deli Foods is that's kind of an old name, because if you look at the grocery stores now, they're really trying to be kitchens, and so we're going to be called Arbutus Farm Kitchen, and we're going to focus on really getting our name out there and really trying to attach ourselves to the incredible food culture that there is on Vancouver Island. We have some of the most progressive retailers in the entire country on Vancouver Island. They really have a connection to local growers, local manufacturers. And we also have a great appetite for that as consumers on Vancouver Island. We're very loyal. We have a lot of independent grocery stores on Vancouver Island, more than anywhere else in Canada. You have all these great small little pockets, individual stores, small chains, and everyone's really trying to attach themselves to that local feel. And that's what, changing our name, we're going to really focus on getting out there more as a brand and get people interested in what we do at Arbutus Farms Kitchen.
One question that's coming around is, what do entrepreneurs need in terms of support, funding, advice, and how can the community help? We've also have a specific one from a business account manager at a bank, and wondering, can a bank be part of that business team? Nels?
I would probably say right now, could a bank be? It would absolutely be part of that, our team for sure. We've got a great, we have a great bank relationship right now, and actually they were working very closely with us on giving back to the community, and actually finding ways to work together to start feeding the homeless, and maybe working on more charitable ideas on that side. So that's some of the connections from the bank side. That's what they are pushing us towards, and also working together with us in funding that.
So maybe I'll ask Landon, is there specific needs that you have as an entrepreneur that community or community organizations can support and help with?
Yeah, I think the best thing for us would be navigating the funding component for a young business. It's just trying to understand how, do you give up equity in your company? How much do you give up for how much? How do you value a startup? Those sorts of pieces can really slow down a young company. Whereas access to funding, access to capital with a business plan would just allow you to just be more fluid. We make decisions all the time that I wish we just had. I had a conversation the other day, that's why I'm bringing this up. Really helpful, just walking me through the process of how to acquire capital, venture capital perhaps, to grow faster. I suppose any sort of information or program that could walk you through that process. I'm sure there's many out there. I just haven't had the time to look for them, but push it on young entrepreneurs somehow, like get it in front of them.
Graham Trucks, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd love for you to respond to that if you could.
Sorry, what was that?
We're going to ask Graham.
Oh.
He does Innovation Island, and really around that support around how do you raise capital? What does that look like? That equity piece. And
Yeah,
just
hi.
would love to invite Graham's thoughts on that.
Hi, thank you. I was struggling with my mute button there, but you might have had the controls on it. So yeah, a great question. Was that sorry? Was that Landon? Landon.
That's right.
Yeah. So just a couple of things. Super briefly, Innovation Island is a nonprofit startup accelerator. We work under a Crown Corporation called Innovate BC. So we're very friendly, safe to work with, and we're not going to sell you anything. But with that said, we work with a lot of startup companies to help them raise money. There's all sorts of capital, mechanisms, instruments that may fit your business. You should check out our DER3 program, which is helping businesses get more digital, and that's just innovationisland.ca. But to the heart of your question, I've been watching your company and really intrigued with your products, and they're perfectly COVID fitting. So I do think you have tremendous growth potential in front of you, and you should certainly, if you haven't already, just go through a little bit of a matrix. Talk to Community Futures to see what they may or may not be able to do. Talk to the BDC, Business Development Bank, see what they may or may not be able to do. And then when you get to next steps with respect to the concept of equity and individual investors or venture capital, that's a little further down the line when those other instruments may or may not fit. Or if you're wanting to go really big and you can support that with a business plan or other supports, then venture capital comes more into play, because that's a different conversation. But you've got a great product, it's fitting the times. There's customers within our region and I think further out that are going to be very interested. So please connect with us, and thank you, Christy, for the question.
Thanks, Graham. And I'll just let everybody know in the chat box there, Jennifer Huffnagel of Innovate BC has added just the contact details for Innovation Island and a couple of those programs that Graham was just speaking of, if anybody wants to get to check those out.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
One question that's, Landon, I think what we're on you right now, so I'll just stick, and it's a direct question for you, is do you need a city permit to put an Ox box on a city lot?
Depends which model. So, and it depends which municipality. Sorry, it depends. Our
okay.
small models, some municipalities are fine with the size because it's under the 10 square meters. And then, but once we get into our larger units, absolutely, yeah, you'll need a permit. But the product itself is going to be it'll have a CSA designation on it, so it'll basically be pre-inspected. So the permit really will apply to the plumbing and the electrical connections. So the product can arrive and nobody has to look at that. It's ready to go.
Jill, did you want to ask about a particular municipality?
Hey, Landon. I'm in Nanaimo. I love your product. I love your idea and your passion for the island. So you've struck a chord with me today. So I'm just wondering in regards to Nanaimo specifically.
Sure. Yeah, Nanaimo is quite receptive to our under 10 square meter product. So that would be fine. It might move into a use situation. So if you were using it and you're using it to see clients for a home business, it might pose a problem. But in terms of a home office, should be fine. We double check every time, obviously, to make sure we're not stepping on anybody's toes. But Nanaimo's fine. The bigger units, anything beyond 10 square meters, you would need a permit. Yeah.
And I think, Landon, you mentioned in the earlier conversation that Oxbox supports and helps people if they need to go through that permit process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at it all the time, so we can provide insight for those that really don't know where to start. Ultimately, it is the property owner's responsibility to acquire that permit, but I mean, contractors and folks like us are really helping with that process all the time. So yes, absolutely happy to help.
And one other resource I want to make sure we bring forth in this roundtable. We don't have any female entrepreneurs on our panel today, but if we did, or if your business is 51% or above female owned, then there's some great resources to check out at the Women's Enterprise Center. And they can really help with that startup capital and support around that business startup. And I also see Futurepreneur here on the roundtable as well. So they're another great resource for youth that are looking to start a business. Can I put you on the spot and just tell us a little bit about Futurepreneur?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much. Yeah, we were definitely helping young entrepreneurs start their business through coaching, financing, and mentoring. So if you know a young person who's in the startup phase in that first year, they need some working capital and they may be, you know, struggling to kind of move to that next level, we'd love to help them develop a really good business plan and cash flow. I'll lend them from $5,000 to $60,000 and then match them with a mentor for 2 years. So yeah, we'll look forward to connecting, and I'll just put my contact information in the chat if you want to be in touch. We're 18 to 39, but if you're working on your business and you're also beyond our age category, please connect. Would love to help you.
Thanks, really appreciate that. One question that came up from the audience a little earlier that we didn't have a chance is to get to was, what keeps you up at night? Like beyond COVID, and we know that that is for most probably people, even, you know, there's stressors that keep us all as individuals up for many realms of the COVID side. But as an entrepreneur and business owner, what is it that keeps you up at night? Dwayne?
Well, there's plenty to keep me up at night. Like I said, I'm a mattress maker, so I've got a comfy bed, but yeah, I'm often awake at night. And usually it's that when you get in that more calm, relaxed state, you can have really deep thoughts. You're going to have an epiphany about your business, like that's what I need to do, or I need to implement that. That's a brilliant idea. So I think you find a lot of business owners, they're making notes. You know, when a thought comes into your head, you think, you know, you don't want to let it get away. I keep a notepad beside my bed. I'm kind of old school that way, but I'll wake up and, you know, something will come into my head and I've got to get it out of my mind and onto paper before I can let that thought go. And, you know, I work hard on my routine before I go to bed so that I can try to sleep through the night. But I'm notorious for, you know, being on emails to the last second before I shut out the lights and things like that. So I try not to let too much impact my sleep, but certainly the challenges of the day, it's not just the big thoughts. It's like that one client that's really giving you grief, or you've got a circumstance that, you know, something went sideways, you know, little things. We have delivery vehicles and guys crash into things, and, you know, just the little challenges that just make you shake your head, and yeah, they bother you, they keep you up. But at the end of the day, you got to let that stuff go and know that tomorrow's another day. It's that simple.
Nels, we'd like to hope that you sleep soundly through the night, but suspect you probably are up in the middle of the night some nights as well. What keeps you up at night?
I'm a mad, I don't sleep very much or well, haven't for years. And I'm a worry wart. So I think of, you know, things always going poorly, but they don't. But one of the things that absolutely keeps me up at night for sure, 100%, is innovation. Always thinking about what's that next flavor, that what can I do a little bit differently. I think about vertical integration, what else can I do in my plant that I can take ownership for. And I do sweat the small stuff a lot of times, but I would say the number one thing right now for me is innovation. Just always trying to think of something different, something unique, something that people, you know, I'm in the food business. It's pretty cool. Everyone loves to eat and everyone loves great food. So I'm always thinking, what's that next thing that would be super delicious for people to eat and that I can make in my plant and people are satisfied, because that's what it's all about.
Thanks, Nels. You know, in building on that innovation space, it's interesting. There seems to often be lots of support for startups. So one of the questions from the audience is around, What do you do as a mature business when you want to keep innovating, you want to keep doing that? Where can you find those kind of resources to innovate at all stages? I'd sort of like to open that up to, I see many amazing leaders in this session. Where have people found some support around innovation at mature stage?
Well, I can speak a little bit to that. You know, clearly, if you're at a more mature stage with your business, you would have some years or a track record of sorts. If you're generating decent revenues, the banks are a lot more approachable. Lines of credit, high-level credit cards, or things like that that you can get to give yourself some more operating capital. Because if you're innovating, you're growing, you're adding new equipment, new product lines. I mean, that there's a bit of a rollout there, and it takes a bit of money to bankroll that. And it's, you know, there's some speculation with it as well, that you think this is the way your business needs to go, but you need X number of dollars. I mean, as we grow and we get busier, we're adding equipment. Equipment costs are profound. We have specialized equipment, and you don't just go write a check for that stuff all willy-nilly. That has to be written into your business plan and your growth. And we've been fortunate enough to be to really have some really solid years, and it's a continuous steady curve up with our revenues. So you know, we've had some good experience with BDC for sure. We've got an operating line with them, and you know, and a business loan that gives us, so that we're not heavily into, but it's nice to know it's there, that if we need to cover off something. So yeah, there's mature businesses. It's true. I would say there's as much that's more focused on young startups, and that's the way it should be, because that's when it's hardest to get in. But being a mature business, you should have a bit more, you know, your financials to show the various lenders and stuff that say, hey, yeah, you've got something good happening here. I can see you're growing. I see you've got some good ideas, and they're willing to get behind you a little bit more. I think that's been our experience anyhow.
Anyone else want to add to that? What about when we talk about resources that aren't financial? You know, Nels, you're in a rebranding experience. You're a mature organization that's going through a rebranding process. COVID has highlighted new technologies that many of us can utilize, as well as capitalize on opportunities through those e-commerce, the scaling. Just even that share thought of the scaling. How do you do that authentically and at a reasonable growth speed that doesn't maximize your capacity and really hurt your business, potentially some of your operating spots of your businesses that you already have as you're trying to scale? Is there any resources that mature businesses can tap into that wraparound supports more than the financial supports?
I've had to kind of bank on and get a lot of support from manufacturers and people in the industry, and because there's probably only 3 companies like Arbutus Farms across Canada. Randomly, we are a deli salad manufacturer, and one of the things that I know for a fact that we struggle with is the resources to talk to somebody about. Like, we're in the middle of looking at all kinds of equipment right now. Everything we buy is anywhere from I don't know, $100,000 to $250,000. And this year we've bought 2 pieces of equipment, and now we're looking at more equipment. And really, it is going through all we're doing it ourselves. It's I've talked about vertical integration. I'll go through a real simple example. In our tiny little place, we buy 250,000 kilos of salad dressing, but we buy it. And so I'm sitting here with my team. I'm going, well, 250,000 kilos, that's almost $750,000 worth of product that we put into our salads. What about making it? So we're going through the whole process of understanding what that actually looks like, because somebody's actually had to make it for us. So that's one of these things that there is no we haven't found the resources or support that could actually Nels this is how you do this. And, you know, we've had to learn a lot of this stuff on our own, talking to people in the industry and manufacturers, and trusting the people that we're working with, that they're giving us information that makes sense. And, you know, obviously the banks have been supportive of this, but really hasn't been a whole bunch of support technically that has been able to support a lot of our questions that we're asking around that.
Yeah, but for each business, I guess it's quite individual, like individual to your particular needs.
Yeah.
Graham, do you have some suggestions on some supports or?
Yeah, no, thanks again. These are great topics and great questions. So just a couple of points. So first of all, I think almost every business is going through some sort of transition with respect to consumer behavior changes, integration with digital tools of all sorts, you know, selling online. And so these are new activities for many businesses. And most businesses in a modern economy have very diverse business models. And so what I would, you know, encourage, and I'm just throwing this out there, is connect with your technology incubators and accelerators. This is our business. This is our world. Tech startups are wired like this from the very beginning. They don't know their market. They don't know their customers. They're developing their products on the fly. And so this is in our DNA. And so I've been really pleased to have Innovation Island, you know, launch this digital economy response program. VIEA in Victoria is delivering the same thing. It's now across the province. And one of the things that we're all excited about as a network of accelerators is that we understand these hybrid, you know, multifaceted business models from a tech perspective, and we're seeing how they fit with more traditional businesses. So just reach out to those relationships, whether they're up island or down island or on the mainland. We're wired this way.
Thanks. I wonder too, Dawn's here from the Women Entrepreneurs Center. I wonder if she could talk a little bit about some of the resources or supports that can be directly supportive for female entrepreneurs.
Hi, it's Dawn. I'm not sure if my video is working, but can you hear me?
We can hear you, and your video is not working, but we can hear you.
Okay. So Women's Enterprise Center provides supports to women-owned businesses across BC, startups, growth, or purchasing a business across all industries. So we do, if you look on our website, we provide business loans up to $150,000. We provide business advising services free of charge to any woman-owned business, mentoring programs and peer mentoring programs across the province as well. So lots and lots of supports, downloadable videos, especially since COVID, we've made all of our webinars free of charge. That can be downloaded from the website, and anyone can register for those, male or female.
Thanks, Dawn. Any
Okay.
questions for Dawn?
Can I ask one?
Yes.
Is that like, so our company is half owned by our wives?
Yeah.
Where do we land on that?
Absolutely. As long as it's a 50-50
Okay.
with a spousal team, then that's considered a female entrepreneur.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Thank
So
you.
would qualify on a 50-50 spousal shareholders, then it would be considered a female, and you would be eligible to apply for the business loans.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn. So let me just see, great question. Oh. One question that's come up is that in several of the major cities, they have these sort of hubs and these corridors, districts that have been integral to bringing together the various players, you know, from startup, accelerator, incubation, this sort of place. So they're talking sort of the Mars Discovery District in Toronto and Kendall Square in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Is there a place for something like that on our island?
Sorry, I'll take that one again. So Christy, like Like, so this, the Scale Collaborative, a variety of other organizations are collectively working in this space within our province. So the province has, and I posted this, a network of tech-based accelerators that form what's called the BC Acceleration Network. But there's a whole host of other organizations that have slightly more specific mandates and fits depending on your business, and navigating that world is sometimes hard, but these sessions expose these things so that people can look for fit, and it's all about fit. I know Mars well. They're part of our ecosystem in Techland, as well as a whole bunch of things that you've listed. Our province, to be honest, it's not quite big enough for that. You know, like we have 3 large, well-established tech ecosystems that I call VVK: Vancouver, Victoria, and Kelowna. Everywhere else is developing, and that's actually one of our hidden advantages, because we're diverse. We've got this wonderful geography, which is sometimes a challenge, but then we've got tremendous levels of creativity with all these different businesses, and so over the course of time, you know, these things will mature, and you know, I know the history of Mars and spent time there. It takes a long time for that to get to that level, and again, it takes really large population bases to make it as dense as something like Mars. So our advantages are wonderful geography, all these amazing companies, and there's a ton of organizations that you need to kind of discover to look for fit.
Thanks, Graham. I agree. So you've got the Innovation Island. We've got VIEA here in Victoria. We've got the DOC, Center for Social Impact in Victoria, which is really the hub of social entrepreneurs that come together to co-work, to figure things out, and to get those kind of supports they need to move forward. So we're more spread out to represent maybe all of our different communities, rural and urban, and so many different organizations to find support, and really it's around that fit. Yeah. So that's sort of the end of our time together in this roundtable. I'd really, again, like to thank Black Press Community News Media for sponsoring this session. Thank you very much to our panelists for being honest and sharing their journeys, all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to all of our audience today that really added to the conversation and has provided, please take a look into that chat box, provided a ton of different supports that you may, as entrepreneurs, want to tap into. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and we will see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.